There are millions of YouTube videos about journaling. Okay, that might be exaggerated, but there's a lot. You know, you've probably seen them. There's videos about the benefits of journaling, what you can journal in, and there's even some people that claim this journal changed my life. Okay, calm down there, Sparky. So you watch all the videos and you finally decide to yourself, this is something I need to do. I'm going to start journaling. So you get on Amazon and you get you a notebook. Now you got your notebook, you got something to make your journal. You open it up to the first page and you think, what now? Howdy and welcome back to Stormin' Norman Says. I am Stormin' Norman. That must mean I have some things to say to you, the fine people today. Y'all can't see, but I rearranged my whole walls back there. Give y'all something better to look at, even though it's kind of dark in here and you can't really see it. But it's the thought that counts. Today, we're going to talk about what do you write in your journal? And I know that there are videos out there that talk about different styles of journaling and what you can write in your journal, but when I'm scrolling through YouTube and they're suggesting videos to me, the most videos I see is why you should journal, people showing you their journal, and notebooks that you can journal in. But I don't see, not that I never see them, but I don't see a lot of videos about what to put in said journal. So we're going to talk about it today. If you know me, and you probably don't, because this is YouTube, and you only know what you see on camera. But I hate complicated. I don't like things being made complicated that do not need to be complicated. I especially hate it when people take simple things that should be simple and make them complicated. I hate that even more. Journaling is easy as you want it to be. Let's begin. So the first one, and I've tried, the ones I'm going to tell you about today, I've tried them. Why do you think I have all these notebooks? I mean, it's partially because I'm financially irresponsible, but it's also because of journaling. And we'll get to, I want to do a separate video on why I have all these notebooks and stuff, but we might touch on a little bit today, but that's for another day, another video. First thing, simple, easy. How was your day? How was your day? And you might think to yourself, I don't got nothing. Like, my day is boring. I went to work, came home, ate dinner, watched TV, I went to bed. That's probably like a lot of people's life. Maybe if you got kids, maybe sprinkle some of that in there, but for the most part, your day is kind of the same every day. Write about it. Put it down on paper. Talk about what you did today. Even if it's minute, even if it's mundane, write about it. Because I found myself doing this, what notebook was it? Making sure still ain't out there causing trouble. That Galen leather cover video I did a couple months ago, and I got was it Astrology I put in there? No, a Sequence. Put a Sequence notebook in it. I keep that in my bag, and sometimes I write in it when I'm at work and talk about what I did today. How was work? Was it busy? Was it not busy? Who ticked me off? Who didn't? Things like that. And sometimes there's a helicopter. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Hopefully not. But sometimes you'll get to talking about boring, mundane things, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're spilling your guts all over the paper. You'll start talking about something that made you mad, and then you'll just start going into why it made you mad, why it made you feel that way. And pro tip, don't be afraid to rant in your journal. It's your journal. You ain't writing it for somebody else to read it. Put whatever you want in it. You want to tell Karen in Human Resources what a pile of dirt she is? It's your journal. Put it in there. Sometimes I get to ranting about people at work in my journal. That don't mean I don't like them. It's just like, hey, they tick me off and this is why. And sometimes I'll go into the feeling of why did it tick me off? When on the surface it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but that's the reason I want to dive into it more. Because like under normal circumstances, this happened to me. You know, it's an inconvenience, but it ain't no big deal. But for some reason, I blew it out of proportion. I want to dig into that feeling, find out why I reacted the way I did. Number 2, I've mentioned before how I joined a marriage program. My wife left in June 2022, and I joined the program in August of 2022, and I was in there for a little over a year. It was called The Bulletproof Husband. They wrote a book. Actually, this book came out a month or two before I left the program, and I haven't read it all yet, but I took the course, if you want to call it. I was in the program, so I kind of know what it says. But in the marriage program, they made us keep 2 journals, and we're kind of going to talk about the other one next. Not really, but kind of. And one was your wins journal, because I don't want to get into too much detail, because I feel like I could do like a separate video on this. But in the program, we're all men, we're all jacked up, our wives have left. It's my second wife, some people's like third or fourth wife, whatever. And we're asking the question, why? Like, why is this happening? And they taught us all kinds of things about how to change ourselves, like the things that are, I don't want to say wrong with us. That's not really the right word, but anyhow, we have all these insecurities, and the reasons that we have these negative behaviors is because we use those negative behaviors to shield ourselves from other people seeing those insecurities. Like a good example, if someone, they're at the gym every day bodybuilding, look at them, they're getting big and swole. Probably because they have an insecurity of looking weak. They're afraid that people are going to look at them as weak, so they do everything in their power to look strong. So, and it goes on and on in other areas as well. But so the wins journal, that was one of the journals we had to keep. The wins journal was, we would, at the end of the day, whenever you journal, maybe in the morning, whatever, but you look back at your day and say, okay, here are the moments in my day where I would have reacted this way, the way old me used to react, but instead I reacted this way, in a more positive way that benefits me. I reacted differently than old me would have reacted. Or your wins could have been, I made a goal to be, say you have kids, and you want to be a more present father. So I made time today, instead of doing this thing that I usually do, I took that time and I spent it with my kids and was more present with my children. That's a win. And the win could be just about anything that you did during the day that is an improvement on what you used to do, on what the old you used to do. So obviously y'all are not all in the marriage program like I was, but it stays the same. You can journal about your wins during the day. Like, say you have a goal. I have a goal to do this thing. Now, it might be in a couple months, it might be in a year. At some point, my goal is to be in a place at the end of this year to where I can buy a house, which means I have to pay off the IRS. And it also means that I cannot finance anything. Very bad idea. That's why I drive this raggedy old truck out here. I cannot finance anything. And I have to pay out the IRS. But that's my goal. So if I did something today to get me closer to that goal, that is a win. Or if you're trying to lose weight, you did something today that was healthier than what you did previously. That's a win. Write it down. Write about your wins. Don't focus on the losses. Those are going to happen. Write about your wins. Number 3. So this is kind of related. Like I said, when the marriage program, we had to keep 2 journals. One was a wins journal. One was an anger journal. And the point in that is that men, I'm saying men because it was a men's program, but you know, it applies to kind of everybody. Men are taught that we are supposed to bottle up our feelings, that we're not allowed to have feelings, we're not allowed to show feelings. So we bottle them up and we keep them inside and we don't tell nobody, we don't show them. And then eventually your wife says for the 3rd time, you know, you need to take the trash out, and you just explode on her. Yell at her, scream at her, y'all bicker and fight. Why? Because you had that anger inside of you building up day by day, and then she finally hit a spot where you just couldn't hold it no more, and you let it out. So the point of the anger journal, and it worked in concert with some other things that we did in the program, was you put your anger on paper. Whatever it is, you don't show this thing to anybody. It is for your eyes only, and when you fill it up, you burn it. You get rid of it, lock it up in the safe if you need to, but don't let nobody see it. This is your anger journal. You put your anger in it, and you just let loose. Get all that stuff out of you. Stop letting it build up. So I'm not saying you should keep an anger journal, but this is something I tried. I didn't end up sticking with it, but this is something I tried, and I heard somebody call it this. You've heard of keeping a gratitude journal. You know, everybody's like, well, we should keep a gratitude journal so you can, you know, reflect on the things that you're, you know, thankful for and stuff like that. How about no? How about don't? How about keep a grievance journal? I wish I could remember the exact name. It might have been grievance journal. I feel like it was something else that I called it. I can't remember which notebook I had it in, nor would I know how if I could find it. But we'll just, for the sake of this video, say it was called a grievance journal. And instead of writing down what I was thankful for, I just wrote about the opposite. The things that tick me off today, the things I don't like, things that annoyed me, and I just went to town letting it all out on the page. But one caveat. So say I fill up a whole page full of, man, I hate you, I hate this sucks, this stinks. Say I filled up a whole page full of anger and hatred. I would end it by writing one sentence of something that happened that day that I was gracious for, that I was thankful for. So to kind of keep it in perspective, let all my hate out onto the paper, and then say, but I'm thankful for this today. I'm thankful, you know, I ate my lunch today and nobody interrupted me, because that is a thing at my work, where I work. It is maybe 2 or 3 days a week where I actually sit down to eat my lunch and nobody bothers me while I'm eating lunch. So that would be one of the things I put. I ate my lunch today and nobody bothered me while I was eating it. Or maybe you can be like, on my way home from work today, nobody ticked me off in traffic. No traffic jams got me. So on and so forth. So of course, the next thing you could put in your journal, which is kind of like the first one, is a diary. Just a diary. Just talk about your feelings. I know it sounds it sounds, I don't know how to describe it. I know it sounds kind of snowflake-ish, if you want to say. I'm not sure what word to use. Everybody today wants to talk about your feelings, and they're all about feelings, and some people take it to extreme. You know, some people are just like, I used to be a type of person who just laughed at people when they talked about my mental health. Oh, your mental health. But since I joined the marriage program and I learned a lot of things about mental health, I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. But there are some people who still take it too far. You know, when people's like, oh, I couldn't go to work today, I had to take a mental health day. Like, grow up. Okay, we're adults. Go to work, suck it up. Okay? Not saying you don't need to look after your mental health, but some people go a little bit too far with it, okay? But when you're writing in your journal, you had feelings today, multiple ones. Write them down. Talk about what made you feel that way. You know, one thing they taught me in the marriage program that was like the most brilliant thing, not the most brilliant thing, but you know, at the time when I heard it, it was, there's no such thing as good feelings and bad feelings. You know, people, you know, when they're in love with someone or they feel affection towards someone, that's a good feeling. That's such a good feeling. But when they're angry with someone, that's a bad feeling. You shouldn't feel that way. There's no such thing as good and bad feelings. Feelings just are. They aren't good or bad. They just exist. So when you're at the end of your day, beginning of your day, you're writing in your journal. You say, yesterday, so this happened, and this is how it made me feel. Why did it make me feel that way? And maybe dig back in your past. Like, when was the time in the past that it also made me feel this way? Or it made me feel a different way, but now I feel this way about it. Why the change? So those are a couple ideas of things you could write in your journal. If you're, you know, you watched all the videos, you're super excited, got you a journal, you're going to write in it and make it a daily habit, a daily routine, and then you're like, okay, well, what do I put in it? It doesn't have to be a certain way. You know, I'm kind of OCD about things. I don't know if y'all noticed. You probably have, because I've ranted about some kind of OCD things on the channel before. But this is my wins journal that I had in the marriage program. I'm not finished with it yet, and it has changed probably 3 times. And I'm not going to show you all what I wrote in here, but I'll show you how I started out. This was kind of the template they gave us for writing in our journal. So here is August 28th, 2022, wins. And then I wrote bullet points. Wins. Finished the modules and got the mini bulletproof apology template. Tanya called me even though it was brief. So my wife called me. You know, we just separated. We weren't talking a whole lot. So just getting to talk to her was like it was a win. I got to talk to her. And then I wrote grateful for the men of the Bulletproof Husband, because they were kind of, we were like a big family. I'm still friends with a bunch of them on Facebook, and you could go on the Facebook group and let loose, and a dozen guys would come in there and offer you support and whatnot. Grateful for church, grateful for God, grateful for friends, and that was it. That was all I wrote for that particular entry. And I got, what is this, 2 pages here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries just on these 2 pages right here. Now, I did that for a while. Then I changed it up at some point. I feel like I changed it up. Here we go. Apparently I squashed a bug in here. So I did that bullet method up until April of 23. And then after that, I just went to writing. Regular, like I do now. So I went from one method to another. What I was saying, what my point I'm trying to make here is that just do it. Just start writing in your journal the best way you know how, and if you get 10, 15 pages in and you're like, I think I want to change the way I'm doing it, then do it. Do it. It don't have to be pretty. Just do it. This one right here, what I was just talking about, the Zequins and the Galen cover, I write my entries and highlight the dates. So I know, okay, that's one entry, that's one entry. But you don't have to be pretty. My handwriting is absolutely awful, by the way. I don't know if I've ever showed y'all that. My handwriting is terrible. It's barely legible. So don't get in this thing where like, oh, well, I got to keep it, you know, organized. And like organized is nice, but what works for you is better. If it's nice and organized, but it don't work for you, then stop doing it and do it a different way. Anyway, appreciate y'all coming by, checking out my video. I'm going to be doing another video because I do it every year. I don't really think anybody cares. In fact, I think last year I did a video on it. Of course, I didn't have as many subscribers as I do now. Last year I did a video on my YouTube anniversary, and I think like 8 people watched it. Like, I don't know what the numbers are now, but it ain't much. It ain't much. So I'll probably do another video about my 9-year YouTube anniversary. And I got some things I want to talk about. I was doing my Sunday school lesson today, and I was like, this would be a good thing to put in that video, in my anniversary video. 9 years on YouTube. And I got so much money from subscribers. No, I don't have. I mean, if you were saying like, Richard, are you a successful YouTuber? Nope. 9 years I've been at this, and neither one of my channels even have 1,000 subscribers yet. But I enjoy it, and that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point. I appreciate y'all coming around, watching my video about what to put in your journal. I have been Stormin' Norman, and I have said things. Y'all have a good evening. Holy macaroni and cheese.